Welcome back to YMP News. I'm your anchor, John III. We've got swimming swine in Decapolis. Paul is being persecuted in Philippi. And this week in sports, we'll be going to our MMA version of the Old Testament with Bob Kebab. But first, an update on the COVID-19 virus. Israel is, for all matters, closed because of an upturn in cases of COVID-19. People are praying, people are sacrificing. Wear your masks, social distance, and please stay safe. And now to the news. That up-and-comer last week at the wedding in Cana, Jesus of Nazareth, is back in the news. He was in Decapolis, where the 10 cities that make up this Gentile region not far from the Sea of Galilee hosted him. Upon showing up, witnesses said that a man who had been running around the tombs, who was very strong but very feral, greeted Jesus. And Jesus succumbed to the fact that he was filled with demons. He asked him how many demons were inside him, and the ferocious man, in a strange, beastly voice, said, "We are legion." And of course, legion in Greek means many. So Jesus of Nazareth said a blessing over him, and the demons said, "Please don't cast us back to hell." And Jesus then sent them into a nearby herd of grazing pigs. Remember, this is a Gentile area. And the 2,000 pigs went screaming over a nearby cliff into the sea and drowned themselves. On that note, pork bellies on the open market shot a quick upturn, as there were worries now in the winter that there will be a shortage. Now in Philippi, the Apostle Paul, who has been told by the other apostles in the New Testament that he needs to go and find, once again, Gentiles who want to come over to Christianity, took his first trip and ended up in Asia Minor in the city of Philippi. And he was there with his assistant Silas. And word comes to us that Paul was being hounded by a woman who was a soothsayer, a seer. And she kept screaming at him, "You are here on behalf of the Son of God. You are here on the behalf of the Son of God." And Paul finally turned around and cured her of her affliction. This ran him into trouble. The owners of the girl, the slave girl, said that she was an income stream for them, as she read people's tarot cards, gave them an idea of their future, and now she was useless to them. So Paul and Silas have been, yes, the word from the courts is Paul and Silas have been thrown in jail. So we'll keep up with Paul being persecuted in Philippi. And word has come to us that Jesus has fled the area of Decapolis in a boat. The man who he cured of the demons, the legion of demons, begged to go with him, but he said, "No, go back and tell everyone what has happened to you from the Son of Man." So now we have Jesus of Nazareth calling himself the Son of Man. So that's something we will definitely follow up on here in YMP News. But now it's time for the world of sports. Take it away, Bob Kebab. Hello, sports fans, and shalom! This is Bob Kebab with your weekly sports update. This last weekend was big in the MMA Old Testament wrestling group. We have two huge matches. Let's start off with the match of Jacob. And Jacob, I've got hair in my mouth. There we go. Let's start off with Jacob, who found himself in a matchup with none other than God. Last week, God showed those people in Sodom what it was all about. This was a much tougher match for God. Let's go to the tape. It was a night battle, and it was very hard at times to find out who was who, but then God started glowing, and as Jacob fought harder, the line in Vegas went down. It went down to God +1. And Jacob was thrown back many, many times, but as the old Confucius saying goes, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up. And every time, Jacob got back up. And then toward the end, God used his famous hover, the heck with gravity move, and he was able to injure Jacob. And the MRI has shown that he has a dislocated hip, and God has remained undefeated, and that's the first setback for Jacob, who came out of the womb. He was a twin, grabbing his brother Esau's heel, goes the MMA lore. But now we go to the Gaza Strip. And this is a Philippines team that put forth their best gladiator. His name was Goliath, 9 feet tall, 700 stone, and a gigantic sword. And King Saul had to decide who he was going to put out against them. And out came teenage up-and-comer, we're going to use that term again, David, son of Jesse. David weighing in at 131 pounds, soaking wet. So as it began, a very confident Goliath came at David, but David, grabbing a stone, threw it into his slingshot and hit Goliath right between the eyes. It brought him down, stunned, he hit the ground. David, having no sword, sprinted over, grabbed Goliath's sword, and for extra points, cut his head off. So now there is a new and exciting favorite in the Southern Division, and we'll have to keep our eyes on this boy too. He's David, son of Jesse. And that's all from the world of sports. I'm Bob Kebab. Shalom!
Thank you, Bob. So let's go to the scoreboard. We're finding that God has stayed undefeated in his very, very strange match with Jacob, and that the huge upset of the season with little David downing Goliath jets him up into second place in the standings. We'll be looking for a winner in this later in the year. So that's the news. This has been YMP News with your anchor, John III. Keep praying, everyone.